I am so happy that after my first impressions of the first 3 episodes of Apothecary Diaries, that this series is not letting up. Episode 4 of this series, just so many emotions, like a roller coaster of emotions, and damn, once again, similar to episode 3, got me extremely emotional. Now, part of that is because it kind of hits a little personal for me. There's a lot of relatability in what's going on in the story that it's telling, but at the same time, yes, a lot of frustrations as well. Obviously, because we open up episode 4 with this idea that Mamao has been asked by the Emperor himself to go over to this other palace and take care of Lua. Now, Lua was, of course, the other concubine that was bearing a child, bearing a prince, and she lost her child. Now, Gyokyo, she actually listened to the note that Mamao left to stop using the powder, whereas Lua did not. She disregarded that letter. And she's still sick at this point. We don't know exactly what's causing it. We don't know that it is still the face powder, but Mamao can't get to her to find out. And this is where it kind of frustrates me. I'm like, Mamao, straight up tell the fools, I'm gonna go talk to the Emperor. Like, this is a direct order from the Emperor to come take care of Lua. So if you're not gonna let me get in there, I'll just go talk to the Emperor. Now, again, it kind of goes back to that whole thing. She's acknowledging this. It kind of goes back to that whole thing where Mama's not going to want to ruffle the waves too much. Like, she's trying not to stick her head out too far because, I don't know, there's a good chance that one of these ladies in waiting would probably find offense to that and get rid of her. So she's trying to tread lightly, but let's face it, if it weren't for the fact that at some point Jinshi kind of steps in, she would have lost her head. The moment that Lua dies, there's a good chance that she's dead. I think she even admits at some point in this episode, like, if I don't get this done, I'm dead. Like, it's coming to the final days until my head rolls, basically. Because, again, if she dies, somebody that is favored to the Emperor, there's a good chance she's dead. Probably all the lady in waitings are all probably dead as well. This is something that she has to do. And again, it's like one of those ones where it's like, okay, yeah, there's probably a fear of going to the Emperor, or at least trying to ask somebody to get an audience with the Emperor as a lowly servant. But again, she was directly ordered to do this. So there's probably a good chance that he would probably want her input on the situation. And I'd be like, this is what I would do. I tell the ladies in waiting, like, all right, well, I can't do what the Emperor asked me. So I'll go tell him that I can't do that. And when he asks me why I can't do that, I'm going to tell him it's because of you guys. It's like one of those moments where I'm frustrated with that she's not pushing back enough. But at the same time, how it resolves was like a million times better. Like, how this quickly escalated was so freaking great. Jinshi, of course, showing up, putting the moves on her, making all the other ladies in waiting jealous. And then he goes, well, it seems a little bit, unlike you guys to not allow her to come in there. And so sure enough, they let her in there finally. And she starts to work on her and she finds out. I was kind of assuming that this is probably going to be the case, but there was a side of me that kind of thought that it was something different. I thought this was probably regret, remorse, just sorrow that Lua was dying because she was sorrowful, which I think there was a part of Mama that believed that was the case. But yeah, the moment that she touched her face and it was like, oh, she's still got that paint on. She's still got the powder on. Like, she literally said, this is poison. They found this is poison. And we find out later on that, yes, it was banned. They banned it. All these men came in and they literally searched everything and got rid of it. But it seems like one of the lady in waiting actually hid the white powder from them in their search. And they seem to imply the idea that the guy that searched that room also got in trouble. Like, she got put away, and I think they implied that he died. I think it said that. I forget exactly what happened to the guy. But she hid it. And it seems to imply later on that Lua wanted her to. Like, she did it for her sake. And again, that Lua, knowing that this stuff was poisonous, still took it. But yeah, when she discovers this, she goes over and says, are you the one that did this? Yeah, I gotta keep her beautiful. Smack. What are you doing? I'm just correcting this filth right here. Drags her over, pours the stuff on top of her. Oh, look, you could be beautiful too. Congratulations. Can't wait until your eyes start sinking in and you start not being able to eat anything and you die, but at least you're beautiful. Just shoving her face like, look at her. Look at her. This is what you made. This is your fault. Oh, it was just so freaking good. And yeah, Jinshi over there like, dang, it's kind of scary how quickly women can change. It was super good. It was way too good. It was really cool because like when he says that, immediately Momo thinks that she's in trouble. Like, oh crap, I went a little too far. They have this overview shot and he's standing there looking at her, and their girls are all, consoling the girl that just got slapped. And you could just barely see Mao Mao slowly shifting away. It was like very subtle, but when I noticed that, I was like, that's so funny. But yeah, that was an amazing little moment, just seeing Mao Mao just infuriated. Again, this is something that I think there's two sides of this. One, again, is the initial problem when she first discovered this. Her frustration was in that she discovered this a lot. That the women at this place that she used to visit all the time were literally dying for this. They were trading their lives for beauty, and it cost them both. And then upon discovering this, she told everybody this, and they banned it from the palace. And yet they're still doing it. You're still dying. And it claimed the life of her child, and you're wanting her to die the same way. It's like there's so much pent-up frustration. Like, this is a completely different side of Mao Mao that I absolutely love. This side that is hinted at in the early episodes. When she first is asked to be she's first told to be the lady-in-waiting for Gyokyo. What the narrator specifically says is that she has this desire for knowledge, this desire for poisons and mysteries and stuff like this. But it also said a smidge of justice. She has a smidge of justice. This desire to correct the wrongs that are happening in front of her. And I think this is one of those moments because she literally flips out. It was such a great scene. Just seeing her so mad, smack, drag her over, pour it on top. You're so beautiful, aren't you? Oh, it was such a great scene. And Aoyuki just absolutely nailed it. So good. But yes, what follows this is, of course, every lady in waiting is now afraid of her. Like, she has just shown that she's not messing around no more. And slowly going through this process of trying to restore her. Now, here's where, for me personally, it started to really get me emotional. And that's just how Mao Mao very quickly discovers these girls were not doing a proper job of taking care of her. There is a lot of things that come into play when trying to take care of somebody that's bedridden. There is a lot of responsibilities that you have to take into check. There's bed sores, their hydration, what they're eating, how much they can eat, what types of things they can eat. There's all these things that Mao Mao was trying to get them to do that they weren't doing. And now that she's in the position of being able to control that and directly observe Liu, she's able to sort of put into play these different things. And again, learning that, yeah, they were literally burning. She vented the room because there was so much incense in there. And that's when she discovered, yeah, it smells like a sick person in here. And oh yeah, by the way, she's not being washed properly. There's all these things that they weren't doing for her that was probably making her extremely uncomfortable, but she was so sick and so weak that she couldn't do anything about it. She's at the mercy of everybody around her. Whatever they do is going to be her caretaking. And again, that's where, me watching, I was like, oh, it hurts. It hurts to learn that somebody is not being properly taken care of. I had to go through a lot of research to find how to do that job properly. It's not an easy job. It's very labor intensive, and you have to pay attention to a lot of things. And you have to check a lot of things on a regular basis. And I like how they kind of went through several of them, not in great detail. I mean, they could have gotten some way crazier stuff with this whole thing, but at least it kind of shows that difference of attention that Mao Mao was giving than all these ladies in waiting. These ladies literally spend their whole time taking care of her. None of them are aware of this. And it doesn't seem like they're malicious. Even the lady that was giving her the powder, even I thought that she was malicious. There was a side of me that thought, well, maybe she's continuously giving it to Liu to kill her. But why would she do that? Unless she was mistreated at some point and she wanted to get her revenge. But again, it goes back to the whole thing where in a lot of cases like this, they're dead. Like, if Liu dies and they're caretaking her, they're dead too. So, but it was just simply this idea that she wanted her to remain beautiful. And that so she was providing that to her. And again, it kind of implies this idea that she hid it for the sake of her. That Liu wanted it still, and so she hid it for her. It didn't imply that they were malicious in the end of it. But at the same time, they were doing a terrible job of taking care of her. And I think that's a lot to do. Now, again, they don't have like massive resources to do this kind of stuff. It's not like they have like a doctor at their beck and call all the time. And even it seems to imply at some point in this episode that the emperor doesn't trust the doctors anymore. She's like, Mama's like, the only reason that he's asking me to do this is because he must not trust the doctors. But it's not as if there's like a lot of resources here. Again, not a lot of crazy knowledge. It's just Mao has that knowledge. And so it's just a kind of a sad state. It's a sad state that these people don't know what to do in these situations. And it's so isolated. It's not like they can just call for random people to give their input. They're very isolated. The lady in waitings, the emperor, and the doctor. About the only people that are going to come in there. Anybody else? No males. For sure, no males. Enoch's maybe, but it's very limited. But anyhow, yes, she slowly but surely, I think that's one point she was mentioning the idea that she's spooning in all this water, rice, and it's like just getting rid of the idea of the manners. Like, one spoon, wash the mouth. One spoon, wash the mouth. No, just pour it in there. Is she drinking too much? No, she needs it. Shut up. It's like these brief moments of like, I love all the little moments where she's like, they're so terrified of her. Like she's opening up to vending things. They're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, it's her again. And she's like, go get some water. Yes, ma'am. Just the tune they have quickly changed. And I do like the fact that it seems like, obviously Lua notices this. It even has the point where finally, when Lua is finally back on her feet, she goes by and visits Mao Mao. She really did appreciate what Mao Mao did for her. But even the servant, the one that was locked up because she did sneak this powder in, when she is finally released and she's able to, I'm surprised she's able to come back to serve Lua, but when she comes back, she realizes, I did the wrong thing. I'm going to take over from you, go get some rest, but I'm not going to make that mistake again. And it was very surprising to kind of see her confront Lua and how acceptant Lua is still of her. Like, yes, technically she was partial reason for the death of her child, the death and almost the near death of her. But again, that was her choice. Lua understands that was her choice. And I think that's sort of what kind of brings Mao Mao to her conclusions of what kind of person Lua was in the very end. She thought that she was a selfish princess, but then she quickly over time learned that she is a woman that has self-respect, but isn't arrogant. The key thing there is that, yes, she has an opinion of herself. She has some pride in there. And I think pride's probably too harsh of a word there, but she has like a pride in there. She has self-respect for herself. She is strong. But she knows when she did wrong. That's the key thing. She knows she herself. She's not blaming anybody else. She could have easily blamed a lady in waiting. She could have blamed Mao Mao. She could blame so many people. She chose to say, no, that was my fault. I disregard the letter. I could have taken that note and followed it and saved my child, but I was too convinced of my own beauty, too convinced that I need to stay beautiful. But that is sort of the curious thing. The one conversation they had while she was still recovering was that she asked Mao Mao, why did you feed me? Why did you save my life? Why didn't you let me die? And Mao was like, no, I just fed you. You could have not eaten it. You could have easily spit it out, basically. But you obviously wanted to live because you swallowed it. You kept drinking. And yes, it gets that little emotional moment of her kind of re-showing all these little memories of her child. And it's like, it hurts. Because I think, and this is like to credit to how they portrayed this in the anime, and it's probably the same in the novel series as well. Really great job of portraying Lua as being the arrogant princess. The arrogant concubine. The one that's full of herself. Because the first perspective we get of her is how she's got this child. She obviously wants power, right? And so she's losing the child, and she immediately blames Gyoko. She goes out there and slaps her. You think she's the nastiest person ever. Oh, this letter to save my child? I don't want that. I gotta stay looking beautiful. All of these things that kind of make it out like she is this nasty stepsister. She is the nasty princess, the nasty queen, the one that wants to manipulate everybody around her. But no, here she's in a weakened state. Asked to take care of her. And then Mao Mao restores her. And you see this other side of her. This side of her that has lost so much stuff. This side of her that we haven't seen yet, that she is a mother. In the end, she is a mother. And she is broken by the fact that she lost her child. Not that she lost the prince. She lost her child. That's the key thing there. And it's sad in this kind of perspective, in this type of world, and the idea that it would be kind of seen that way. This is a prince. I nailed it. I got the emperor. I have power now. No, it was, I have this child. It may have been before, yes, I want to get a prince for this emperor. That's my job. But then when she had it in her hands, everything changes. But it's interesting that that's the thing that she thought of when Mama said that you wanted to live. And I wasn't really sure at the time, what is it saying? Is it saying the idea of, I got to live on for the sake of my infant that didn't make it? Or is it going, I want to hold that again? Because I think, again, it kind of plays into later on when Mama goes to leave. The one question that Lewa has is, do you think I can conceive a child again? I don't know. Should try. I think she wants to have another child. She wants to experience that again. That's why she's still living. She wants to have that child, and this time, not mess up. Because even she believes that she's not worthy to bear another child for the Emperor. Well, he's not going to visit me. She's like, oh yeah, he probably will. He's the one that sent me. Like, he loves you because he sent me under his orders to come here and save your life. He trusted me to do this. And he doesn't trust the doctors because they obviously screwed up before. That shows that he loves you. But yes, her mind is on that she wants to have a child. I did like that parting though. It was cute little messages there, and the idea of like there's hundreds of flowers out there. Who's to say which one's more beautiful? Because obviously, Gyokyo, apparently her beauty's in her eyes and her hair. And Lua's like, I don't have that. And she's like, well, girl, you have other assets. Let me tell you something. She whispers in her ear this method that the ladies at the house used to tell her about that she's never going to be able to use because she doesn't have that chest. And Lua's like a puff of smoke above her head as she leaves. It was such a drop mic moment for Mama. I was like, all right, I'm leaving. I'll leave them into your, I've told them everything that you need to know to take care of you. Out of here. By the way, whisper, drop mic, walk out the door. And then, yes, it mentions later on that the Emperor has not been visiting the Jade Pavilion in quite a while. I think it's because he just wanted to see her again, and Mama was gone, but it was good. It was a very nice little sweet ending to this, even though it was like most of the episode was very heavy. But yeah, super good episode. Oh, just I think that the thing that kind of bookends this whole thing is that one shot where Mao is exhausted. She has been working tirelessly for over 2 months, it seems, at least 2 months at this point. She's been working so hard to help Lua get better. And you have this moment where she finally goes back to her room and she just collapsed down on that wooden bed that I don't understand why you laying on a wooden bed. She lays on that wooden bed, and then you just see, after a little bit, that hand come over, and it's Lua. And I was like, oh, she appreciates it. Oh, like, Mama won her over so bad. It was super sweet. Just again, I lost focus. I screwed up. I lost something that I cherish. And thank you for getting me back on my feet so I can try to have one again. Anyhow, I can go on and on. That's my thoughts on episode 4 of the Apothecary Diaries. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. Looking forward to next week. It looks like I was very curious because it kind of showed this guy that had a curse. It's going to be some sort of skin infection or something like that. I have been kind of curious as to if at some point they'll get back to Mamao and the scar that she has, that she always kept covered. Because originally when she first showed it, she was trying to, that's where she tests all of her poison stuff, is on her own skin. And she's mentioned the idea that it wasn't going away. And I don't know if it's just trying to get rid of the scar, or if there's an infection there that's still there. And I've always been kind of curious if at some point they'll get into it. I'm wondering if this might be partially the same concept here. Maybe this is the same thing that's infecting her, that's infecting this guy, but we'll see. It seems like they were burning stuff, and I'm guessing some sort of chemical came from burning that stuff, but maybe it's the powder. Burning more stuff, and the powder keeps coming back. We'll see. But anyhow, yeah, like I said, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you got my content, news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does. And I'll take care.